Hey guys, I'm Mike and welcome to Acting TNT. Today's thought of the day comes from my work this afternoon sitting in on Lisa Dalton's Michael Chekhov's Association's uh, symposium for the month of February. And it has nothing to do with the topic that happened during the symposium. I got to sit back today and actually step back and not have to participate in in the work of a subject that I am just learning about. I was invited to participate, and I decided to step back. And I did my paper. I took notes on the side and got to watch and learn and not flap my jaw. I am an acting coach. I have been the last few days. I have coached 3-hour sessions, 4-hour sessions, and being able to sit back and just listen and absorb was truly a blessing for me today. But my thought has nothing to do with the subject matter of the symposium. It's something that came out in the conversation after or towards the end of it. The subject or the question came up was basically, if you're writing something or creating something, when does it actually end? A lot of things end because you have a date for that theater show where it's got to go up, right? Or you lose your funding, or you make a movie and the date of the shoot is this time and it ends at that time, right? And then it's over for the filmmaker and the director, and the actor probably goes on and goes, "Oh Christ, why didn't I do that?" or "Why didn't I do this?" And the truth of the matter is that for an artist, it never really ends. And because we will look at a work that we have done, whether it's a song, a book, any kind of painting, whatever it may be, and we will look at it a year later, 2 years later, with fresh eyes. And because we are ever evolving, we will see it with those ever evolving eyes. Why did I do that? Oh man, why didn't I think of this? Oh, that word would have been perfect. Jerry Seinfeld, I heard an interview with him one time where he was talking about one of his bits, and this is in the days when, you would create an act and you could play that act for 10, 15 years without having to rewrite it, before social media and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. But he talked about having a very successful bit that 2 years later he discovered one word, and he felt that one word made that thing infinitely more intelligent, right? But at the time that he finished it, it was perfect. It was done. Uh, I remember watching, I do a film festival. I'm a judge on a film festival, and I watched this film that came from either Central America or South America about a fairly famous artist down there, a guy who had sold paintings for a lot of money. And it was a story of his family, actually, and how he was like the patriarch of this. And all his kids and grandkids, most of them became artists. It's like a family of cops. You grow up in a family of cops, your natural tendency is to become a cop or something like that. And the thing that struck me about this guy was they had asked him towards the end of this film is, how does he feel when he sees one of his works? And he said, when I look at something and I see something in someone's house that they've paid, a lot of money for, maybe $100,000 or more for, he says, I look at it and I go, oh, that's crap. Let me take this painting back from you and let me fix it. Let me make it better, right? And the big thing about that is that when he had finished that painting, it was finished for him. But now that he sees it 10 years later with new eyes, with new experiences, with with a, a bunch of more of education and knowledge and time put into the work, it's no longer satisfactory for him. Now, this can be either empowering or disempowering. I think it's really important to make it empowering, right? If we look at our work and our lives as works in progress, we can be much more forgiving to ourselves, much more accepting that we are going to grow, right? It gives us a point of reference of being friends to ourselves. And it reminds me of something that Emile Coué said many, many years ago. He said, "Day by day, in every respect, I'm getting better and better and better." And that's the truth. As you work your craft, you are becoming much more knowledgeable in it. You are feeling your oats in it. But you must look at yourself as being worthy of success, of deserving success, of knowing that where your work is today, it's going to be twice as good tomorrow. Michael Chekhov, I had heard, used to say that actors are 10 times as good as they think they are. There's another gentleman named Ben Sweetland who had a radio show and has a number of books out. And he says, as a reminder, you're twice as good as you think you are. So let's marry the difference. We are all probably 5 times as good as we are. Accept it. Accept that you're going to look at something that you're doing right now and you're learning and growing through the actual doing of it. See, to me, the only reward artists get, the only reward an actor gets or a singer gets or a writer is the joy of doing the work. Everything else is out of your control. It becomes the audience's thing to judge, and they'll judge it however they feel. You have no control of it. But our joy doesn't come from what comes back to us, because those accolades are fleeting. Our joy is that we actually get to do the work instead of sitting in the spectator seats, dreaming and wishing that we could do the work. Have a great day, guys.